I can't help but talk about this idea that like women have this problem because I still see posts where people are like, oh, I have to ask my husband if I can buy that handbag. Like, no, shut up.
No.
Don't be married to somebody. You have to ask if you can buy a bag. I don't care if you do your taxes together. Get your own money, buy your own goddamn bag, and don't explain yourself. You're a grown-up.
Welcome to the Arguably Feral Women podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Thelma Roy, and today we have a guest who is someone that I've known for a decade, which is kind of wild to hear. Theresa, thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I guess, we'll just kind of dive right in.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get to the good stuff, to the meat of everything. And, so with all that said.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? And what perspective do you offer? That's a little different than what a lot of people would say today. It is a bit deep. We're going deep. I know. And in the form, I was like, tell me about yourself.
No, it's true. Push me in the pool. No, it's good. So I'm Theresa. I've been in business 15 years, creating high-end and memorable brands and websites. You can check me out at liztheresa.com. I also have a podcast called Liz on Biz. I like it so much I trademarked it. And that's now 10 years old, which is crazy.
Wow.
I know, I was surprised when I figured that out. And then I would say in my business, what I do is I help you be the star you know you are. And so I also trademarked that because I was on a roll, trademarking. So I trademarked that, but I really mean it on my whole business. And I would say, like, when you think about, like, why does it matter? I always say the work always matters. Everybody brings a really important gift to the world, and I really feel like we do it through our work often. And so in my work, I really help people absorb more of the main character energy I feel like they deny themselves. And I work on this. I feel like we all make our mess our message in some way. So, like, I still work on stepping into the spotlight, if you will, and, like, owning that. But I do it. And so I help other people kind of like, when you have the right foundation, the strong brand identity, and you know who you are, it's not so weird to take up space and to use your voice,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. You totally embody that. And that's just so critical. With this, when I was asking you the questions, I was like, is there anything you want to talk about or anything in particular that you want to share? And you said, I'm an open book. So
yes.
With that said, kind of leading in from like you saying you want to bring women into their spotlight. One of the things I like to ask folks is, do you consider yourself an arguably feral woman? And if so, why?
I always say Will Ferrell. Like when somebody's feral, I'm like, are you feral like Will?
Like Will.
Yeah.
Yes. We all embody Will in all of this work.
Clearly. Nah, he doesn't really embody femininity, but no, I always say, are you feral like Will? No, I think that, I think everybody should be a little feral. I mean, I think in the face of all that women have to contend with, and like a bit too much patriarchy and nonsense, I think that if we're not feral, we're doing something wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree. Would you consider yourself that then?
Yes.
Awesome. So tell me more about your story too, because you said that you had launched your business in 2011, you had said?
Yes. I launched my business in 2011. When I started my business, it was originally doing social media marketing, and that was because I really felt like at the time I was like, oh, everybody wants to buy that. But that's all stuff we tell ourselves, it's not necessarily like accurate. And so but I did do pretty well at it. I think I got very frustrated in the beginning because I realized that any marketing is only as effective as, the website that you're driving traffic to. So
sure.
And I used to make websites for fun. And so that was probably my first feral moment, is that if you want to have feral moments, this could have been a feral moment, is where I was like, wait, what am I really doing? And then I was willing to just erase the foundations of what I was selling and say, okay, no, I'm not selling ongoing marketing services. What I'm really selling is getting your foundation right so you can be the star you know you are. Although back then, I didn't know that would be my tagline today. Back then, I used to just say, I help you launch and build a business that you love. And I even still say that on like the intro to my podcast. I still say an online business you love. So it's like, it's just funny to see that little evolution. But I feel like over time, we're all like living documents, you know, we make choices, and over time, as we continue to make choices, feral choices and non-feral choices, you know, it helps us become who we're supposed to be, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say is like one of the most challenging things that you had to do when you were making that pivot between like one
Oh,
focus and then the other focus? I don't know, was there any like anything conflicting in
yeah.
that? Was it easy?
Well, no, never. Nothing is easy.
No.
Nothing worth doing is easy.
Sure.
But I feel like back then I was a little bit like, oh wow, am I good enough to sell websites myself? Because I think I was only seeing, I mean, it's very male dominated, so like a lot of men, and frankly a lot of high end marketing agencies, and I would put that in air quotes because you're like, what makes them high end? You know, like, did they just decide one day? A little bit. And I think, frankly, people do. I mean, it says that on my website now, but I did decide one day, and it was like you hit a point where you're like, no, I make really good stuff. And I think that like being willing to own that is arguably feral too. I mean, I think is being willing to own that you are, you know, that you're the best at what you do. But I think the best people are also the people that stay humble. Like, I'm also humble. I'm the best because I ask questions, because I never stop learning.
Yeah.
Because I have this deep need to continue my inquiry into how can I really help my people, like, show up in a way that makes them feel confident and excited, you know, to drive traffic.
Totally. Isn't it interesting too? Like the most capable people are always, at least at first, am I really worth like being able to say I am the best at this? Like you're when we really
Yes.
take a deeper look into ourselves, it's if I were to say, you know, I'm the number one coach, or I'm the number one this, or I'm the number one that, there is some part of me where it's like, am I?
Yeah.
Am I
Am I?
really?
I mean, I think
But
for
okay.
somebody, you are the number one. You know,
Sure,
it's like
and
everybody
likewise.
for your ideal clients, you know, and I feel that way for my people. Like there are people that have bought, I would say, multiple websites here, like 4 or 5
Yeah.
websites, like, and they keep coming back, buying new websites, starting new businesses, doing new things, and having new projects, and I love that. And there is no higher compliment than somebody willing to spend a premium amount of money multiple times,
Yeah.
at your company. That's like really a high compliment. But it's like I must be number one for them, but no one is number one for everyone. But I always like to say, you know, what is a really, in our copy, right? And when I talk about copy, I'm really talking about like what are the words that you use to describe yourself as a human or your company as a brand. And whenever I talk about that too, I'm also saying, how could you be more audacious with your claims? Because if anything, we are subduing ourselves all the time,
Yes.
and always over humbling, and always saying, well, I'm pretty good at la 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 la, and I might charge you $25. Like, and I mean, like, calm down. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we can't be apologetic just for being, you know. And I think like that's a woman problem. Like, I don't see my male clients ever apologizing
Yes.
for their identity or like how they show up in the world. They're always like, no, I do this and I'm damn good, and they own that energy. But they didn't take that from us. We need to just take it. Period. Like, women need to assert and claim our right to say that kind of stuff. And I'm the first one to tell you I'm a work in progress, but I'm very cognizant of it. And I can't help but talk about this idea that like women have this problem, because I still see posts where people are like, oh, I have to ask my husband if I can buy that handbag. Like, no, shut up.
No.
Don't be married to somebody. You have to ask if you can buy a bag. I don't care if
Yes.
you do your taxes together. Get your own money, buy your own goddamn bag, and don't explain yourself. You're a grown up. Like, I mean, like, or I need to hide this from my husband. You're not a child. You're not a little girl.
No.
Like, it's sick.
Yeah.
It's infuriating. And
Yeah.
then I see people click like just because it's people post it, and they're like, oh, isn't that funny? No, it's also not funny that we call small businesses small. Like, I think that's insulting.
Yes.
Frankly. There's nothing small about a small business.
I love that. No, I completely agree with you because it takes an extraordinarily huge amount of work. Like for your
Huge
small
amount of
business, effort, work,
investment,
time. Yes, all of it.
input.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. A huge part of your life to build something small,
Yes.
you know?
I had somebody once say, "Oh, meet Liz. She has a little business, or like she just has this little business," and I
No.
nearly hit the roof, and I didn't, but like because I loved this person.
Uh-huh.
But I think sometimes people, this person was old school, right?
Mm.
And so these older gentlemen,
Oh,
like they look at little girls that do things.
it's cute.
It is, and I don't deny it.
Yeah.
I'm very cute. Yeah.
I mean, we are that, and
But like you can be cute and deadly. You know, I have a friend, Jolie. Do you know Jolie? Did I ever tell you about her?
no, I don't know Jolie.
So Jolie she's a family law attorney, and
Okay.
and we went to college together. She was my college roommate, and now at this point I've got to do her website and all this stuff for her,
Awesome.
which is really cool. But like she always says this thing, and she always like her catchphrase, and she's like, "Underestimate me, that will be fun."
I literally have that. My friend Carrie bought it for me, and it sits on
What,
my
really?
desk. Yes, I would run over and get it, but I'm like tethered to this desk. So
Oh, and she lives in Rhode Island too, so I'm like, you should be her friend.
yes, let's connect.
Like you'd like each other.
Oh
Yeah,
my
because,
God.
like she's super feral.
That's awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Maybe we'll have her on the podcast. That's incredible.
Yeah, she'd be really good. But no, it's like she
Awesome.
says that, and so sometimes I think about it,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh yeah, and I am underestimated. I mean, my name is Liz Theresa. My company is Liz Theresa, but I've still had people call and ask to talk to Zach,
Hmm.
who works here. He is real, but it's
Sure.
like it's not called Zach Theresa.
Why? That's
It's
strange.
just because, yeah, and they're like, well, he is the developer. And I was like, yeah, but it's not like I'm just the adorable little girl that sells things he makes. Like, I actually did all the development before I hired him.
Wouldn't
Not
it
that, and
be-
am I as good? No, but like, that's why you hire people.
But they came to you and your website,
Yeah.
and I'm getting all the credit to Zach. Don't get me wrong, Zach's awesome.
Yeah, I love him.
And
He's amazing.
like, wouldn't you be honored? This is how I would feel. I would be honored to meet the person that the company is named after. Like,
Yes, I would think they should be so lucky.
yes, I agree
Yeah.
entirely.
My flappers were gasted, and frankly, we didn't do a project with these people. But my flappers were, I was gasted. I was aghast.
Could I use that?
Aghast is a great word. I was AGHAST, aghast.
A gas.
So you spell it.
I like that. That's good.
It is quite interesting.
You gotta revive that.
Almost like ghost, but like gassed.
A gas, if you will.
Okay, aghast, a ghost, if you will. I was a ghost. Wouldn't it be funny if like I didn't know how to say it, and I was like, I was a ghost when I was talking to this person. And then you were like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
But like, you know how some people just get words wrong?
Yep. Yep.
And then you don't know what to do. Like, I have like grown people I know that say certain words wrong, and like, I just don't correct it.
No.
Because I just let it go on.
It's too
Because
far
at this
gone.
point, if you're an adult, and like these people are older than me, but like if you can't say, like, I have a friend that says frustrated, and there's
Frustrated.
nothing I can do. Yeah, I just let it. I just let them be who they're gonna be.
That's it.
They've
We give them
already
that
become
moment.
a full person. They can just be frustrated about it, and I'm just gonna let them be that. But I'm not gonna be the one to be like, it's frustrated. Like, I've said it once, but if
That's
you
it.
say it once and they can't absorb that it's frustrated, then you're there. I would only frustrate them.
I.
You know what I'm saying? So you just have
Yes.
to just let people be who they're gonna be.
I hear that, and
That's
that's
feral.
That's
See, they're feral. They're feral in a different way.
they are. They are.
They can't be tamed. Their pronunciations cannot be tamed. Frustrated was another one. I don't know. That's
I
the
don't know.
funniest one, though. People are gonna think I'm the biggest meanie. Am I mean or am I just right? Where is the line? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you ever feel like people tell you you're mean, but you're just telling the truth?
But then why do we, that's a great point. So like, why do we take that on as like, I'm being direct, therefore I'm a bitch? Like, that's not,
Yeah.
they don't equal each other.
No.
We can have
and then
the
you know
opinion.
these human design people? Do you know about this?
Yes.
Are you a human designer? Do you design humans?
I
Do
just,
you got it?
I think I did it, and I
Right.
was a manifesting generator when I,
Oh, you're a good one. So
I'm a good one, I guess.
projector.
Okay.
Right? And projectors are, people are always surprised because they're like, oh, I thought you'd be a generator because you work all the time. And, da, 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 da. And I was like, I don't work all the time. I work in bursts, which is how projectors do work.
Nice.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
But what they always say about projectors is that you have to wait for the invitation. Do you know about this?
No, I don't.
So they say that your way to engage in anything or to go after anything is to, quote, wait for the invitation.
Interesting.
No. No, you
No.
don't.
No.
You do things to encourage invitations, maybe.
Yeah.
But you don't wait for people. And this was what gets me into trouble. If I tell somebody something and they're not ready to hear it, they don't like that. And I can come off as super, like a lot. I can just come off as a lot. Like I gave a talk once while I had the stomach flu.
Oh, gosh.
And I was on a webinar. Yeah, and it was like through this organization. And then after the talk, they like sent out a thing to get feedback. And like, I gotta tell you, I got a lot of negative feedback.
Really?
Like people thought I was a little rude.
Really?
They were all like, yeah, because I tell it like it is. And because like I said, Wix websites aren't real. I'm sorry. I say it sometimes, but it's the truth. They're really not good. And they have great commercials. The people that make them are nice, but like they're not grown up websites. And like there's an actual measurable difference between a website that's built on a lesser platform. They're still built in a less mature way with how technology has come along.
Mm-hmm.
And they're built to just be cute and pretty, but they are not actually high performing for search engines and all that stuff. And all that stuff does matter. And they're not that easy to edit. That's another lie. Because I fix them. So if people are hiring me, a web developer and a company, to fix a website, yeah, this is it. I get so mad, but I said that on this thing with those people. And then everybody was like, oh, that Liz it was on a panel. And they were like, everybody was great, but that Liz was just so unpleasant. And I was like, I tell the truth.
You just tell the truth. It's your area of expertise. If there's anyone that would be able to say it, it would be you.
Yeah, I'm the only one allowed to say it. And I mean, and it's yeah, that's it. I'm just coming in with these big opinions. See, maybe I came in a little, the name of your show lends itself, though.
That's the goal. I mean, that's the goal,
We're
is
just
to be
saying stuff.
Well, that's okay. And so I think the whole point of this conversation is to bring in women that have just kind of said, fuck it, to societal expectations and cultural norms, not just for the sake of being loud, but for the sake of being truly who they are and pursuing exactly what they want. And that's very confronting to people, maybe even themselves as they're going through and growing and their partners or whatever season of their life that they're in. And so, we can feel like, oh boy, I'm being a lot right now. And the whole point of this is to be you're not being a lot. You're just being who you are. And we're so used to like putting ourselves in containers.
Shrinking.
Yeah. We got to stop
Constantly.
shrinking. Exactly.
Yes. We do, though. It's like when you kind of watch what you say in given company, in certain company, but like even what you said about like the truth can bring up a lot, and when you are who you are, it brings up a lot. I mean, when I get to work with people, making websites and stuff, I mean, there are times that people will cry.
Wow.
Not because they're upset about like, oh, the logo's blue and I wanted red, like that doesn't happen, but it's more like, it's just that it's like having a baby. It's such a big, pronounced way to change how you show up in the world that it can be very triggering, because then you're like, oh my God, people are going to see me. And then if people see me, what does that mean?
Oh, I love that. That's incredible. So what you are, and this is what I consider myself to be too, but I just love that you called that out. So what you are doing is you're being a mirror, reflecting back to them who they truly are. And you're just reminding them of everything that they're capable of and what they're doing. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this is what I'm hearing.
It's very healing. It's a very therapeutic experience.
It is. It is. And to see themselves that way presented, not just in like, their email, but it's literally anyone in the world can find.
Yes.
And it's just incredible. So I love
Yes.
that. I love that you called that out. Absolutely.
No, well, I had a client and she told me you're so much more than a website designer and you have to say it. She said you really heal people around their visibility. You're really showing people. You can hear, like, she's like, you can really hear somebody talk and then know how they talk and what they need to say for their message. And she's like,
Absolutely.
but like, she's like, you're not just a website designer because I really am good at I'm talking a lot now, but like being an active listener and being there for people that have because I always feel like when people do come, it's almost like they're on the precipice of something, or it's like you feel like you're like, I have something to say, but then maybe you can't find the words, or you're hungry for visibility, but you can't get any because if you don't have anything to say, it's all in vain. So you're not going to get visibility, or if you do, they're going to come to you, and you're not going to have anything to talk about. That's why the message is so important.
Yeah, it is. So I have to say too, for anyone listening, like I'm going to totally plug Liz because I'm using Liz, not using Liz, but I am working with Liz to create my own website. And, you know, it's been, the process has been long and we've been working through it. And, you know, I recently went back to it because I was like, I got to get back on the game of just making this real and getting this to like the finish line. And I was reading the copy. And I had this holy shit moment of like, how does she know? How does she know?
I feel it.
Did I really tell her that? Did I really say these things? You just knew. And it was incredible. And there was so much on there where I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. And it was really interesting because when we first started to like where I am today in this seat doing arguably feral women, it was a path. It was a journey. I didn't even say it was very.
You had like I would say your windshield had about 10% visibility at the beginning. It's almost like your windshield is knowing how you want it. But I think we're all like this. I mean, and we have to accept that no one ever has all the answers. It's that you have to be willing to continue the investigation to get them, but that it's forever. I mean, like you're going to have a never-ending inquiry into who you are as a person and what you want and what's important. And then I went through the cancer stuff, we're kind of during our project and, you know, everything. And that made me, and for people knowing, I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a very rare lymphoma, but it is the Christmas cancer, is what I say, because it's the good lymphoma. So, but I made up the Christmas cancer. I don't think anyone else says that. But our ribbon is lime green, if you're curious about looking it up. But I bring it up because even though I got good cancer, when you get something big or something huge happens to you, you can't help but think about, like, how am I living my life? What is important to me? What do I want to keep doing? What do I want to stop doing? How do I want to be remembered? But like these are questions that ideally people are asking themselves regularly, but we know they're not because nothing begs the question. It's so easy to shift after this conversation and go back to your autopilot. That is the easiest thing to do. But what if instead we said, what if you wanted to just stop a minute and take inventory? I mean, even making a list, like I did this with my first husband, because I went to a therapist, and the best piece of advice she could have ever given me was to make a list of everything I didn't like about that relationship. And even though I loved that person, it is amazing how long that list was. Like how unhappy we really were and how toxic it was, whatever reason, right? And it's like, that's just a relationship list. But like, you could make a list about your life. Like maybe it's like you hate taking out the trash, and like if only you asked your partner or your husband or whatever to do it for you, like maybe your life would be a little bit better. And I know that sounds really small, but I actually really do hate taking out the trash. And there's so many things I really hate. I hate the dishes. You know what I hate about the dishes? The little drain thing that
I was just thinking that the cup that like
the cup.
You gotta
disgusting.
It's awful.
Oh, it's just there's nothing grosser in the entire world than that.
No.
My husband does that. I won't do it. I won't do it. So he does it. Like he does all the icky things I really don't want to do. But like I'm like that's in a relationship, right? But like you can even look at your business. Like
absolutely.
What clients suck, and be willing to break up with them.
Yes.
You know, like be willing to dump people. Be willing to meet people and say, no, I'm all set, thanks, even if they want to give you $5,000. Like, you know, my God.
It's not worth
Did I
it.
tell you about this? Okay, there was a show I was on. Did I tell you about this? I'm like,
No.
I might have told you about this. No, she was on my show. It's
Oh, she was
somebody
on
comes on my show.
Either way, awesome. Okay, yeah.
So this is a lady. It's just a lady. And she
Okay.
comes on the show. I interview her. I don't know. And like people that come on the show, they go through Ashley, who does my vetting. So
Okay.
Ashley vets everybody that comes on the show.
Okay.
And so Ashley lets this lady come on the show. It seems fine. It was a good interview. You guys won't even know that this happened.
Oh, interesting.
Well, you might if you're really close to watching everything I do. If you're
Okay.
really discerning, you'll know who I'm talking about. But anyway, so she comes on the show, and then she says, like after we record, I asked her, she has a show. And so I said, like she alluded to the fact that people pay her money to come on her show. So I said, don't you think that compromises your journalistic integrity? And she's like, well, I'm not a news person, I'm an entertainer. And I said, yeah, but like even so, I was like, people paying to come on a show. I go, doesn't that mean like anyone can give you $100 and come on a show?
Right.
Like, to just paraphrase it. And then she was like, well, yeah, it's how I put dinner on the table for 14 people. And I was like, listen, I didn't say this to her. I'm saying to you, 14 people don't work on a podcast. Not unless you're like NPR up first.
No.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No.
There's not 14 people working on her show. I'm sure it's great.
Let's
But
just
like,
be
it's
real.
14 freelancers. It's not 14 salaried professionals working on a show.
No. This
So
is full
anyways,
time.
she says that. So then I go, I'm just saying, and I said this out loud. So this was Farrell. I said, I said, are you saying you whore out your show? And people give you money. She said, yeah, I do whore myself out. And I was like, well, there it is.
There it
I
is.
didn't mean to offend you. And I said, but it's been done. So I said this out loud. I was like, I wouldn't do that. And I said, but you know, respect. We already recorded our show. I'm going to let you go. Have a good life.
Yeah.
And like, that was like how we ended the call. But like, I really brutally offended her. But like, I'm like, it's so shitty to have people pay to come on a show.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if I were going to pay to come on a show, I would still have discernment about if the person was, you know, passing my smell test and was of decent moral character. Otherwise, why amplify a voice that's a bad voice? Do you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
No, I do entirely. I feel like the money is not to put the money as the priority for the barrier to access for you to like share them with others.
Yeah.
That's a strange priority. We'll put it that way. That is not
really weird.
it is not my priority. Similarly, like I did not ask you to pay me to be on the show.
No,
At all,
there's another
ever.
girl. There's somebody else that does do this.
Okay.
She doesn't like me anyway, so I'll tell you about it. But I won't tell you the name of the show. She really doesn't like me. I've tried to make amends. I had cancer. I said, can't we be friends again? She ghosted me. And I was like, all right, we're not going to be friends.
This isn't
So
happening.
she has a show. Yeah, how do you have cancer? Apologize. Nothing?
Nothing.
What's wrong with you?
That's
You've
all.
never seen a movie? It doesn't end well for the person that doesn't accept the apology.
Nope.
Right?
Right. No.
Nope.
That's not how the plot
Karma.
goes.
Anyway, so they have a show, and you pay. And it used to be you pay to come on, and now it's like you don't pay to come on, but to come on you have to buy a sponsorship. Which I was like, isn't that Stone Fern who come on the show?
That is. You're exchanging money for a perk, for like
Yeah,
it's
so
a
I
still a
was like-
transaction. Interesting.
Isn't Entrepreneur... Wait, I've never been on Entrepreneur on Fire, and I've never listened to it, even though everybody liked it for 5 minutes. I don't know, other people still like it, probably. But, like, did you pay to go on that one? Why do I think you do?
I have no idea. I have never looked into it. I really couldn't
Somebody
answer.
told me once that if you have $5,000, like, or, like, something, that, like, you
Really?
can give him money. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
I don't know. But I'm like, I don't, you know, whatever. No,
Interesting.
but I mean, that's maybe the vetting, though. I mean, if you're willing to pay $5,000, you can't be.
Who knows, right? I mean,
A
maybe
weirdo.
at a certain point it makes sense. I don't know. Maybe at a certain level, at a certain point, it makes sense. But
I don't don't know, 10 years
I don't
in,
know.
I'm telling you, nobody's paying to come on my show.
There
I
you
don't
go.
want your dirty, dirty, stinky money.
There you
I love your money, but just spend it
But
buying something.
not in that
you know,
way,
like you don't
right.
have to come on the show. Yeah, like I like it because it keeps my show interesting. Like it
Yeah.
makes me prioritize. Okay, who has a good story or like
Right.
who offers something that my people could really benefit from.
Right.
That's how I think about who should come on the show.
I like that. No, I think that's
I don't
a
know how
great
you picked
perspective.
me. I don't know how I got here.
You,
Just kidding.
because you're incredible. What do you mean?
Well,
I don't know
thank you
why
so
I'm
much.
here.
Thank you.
You're one of the first people I thought of. You were the first person I thought of. I was like, I wonder if Liz would want to be on my show.
I'm honored.
I'm
No,
so
I'm
honored,
honored
too.
too. I think there's nothing. Podcasting is so intimate. I mean,
It is.
you know, we're in ears
Yeah.
right now. There's blood vessels going on. There's a drum. We're
Yeah.
right there with the drum.
Yeah. Right next to my brain.
It's nice.
Happening. It is.
Parum, parum, pum, pum. Whatever. Little drummer boy.
I know.
Pum. I don't know. That's
Yep.
what he did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm singing it in my head. I'm going to spare everyone listening to this.
All
singing,
day.
yeah.
Yes.
So given everything, everywhere you've been, everything you've done, everyone you've met, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit already, but like what season of your life would you say that you're in now? And like how does it differ from any other season you've lived through to date?
So I'm 38, and I'm coming to terms with that. And there's nothing wrong with being 38. But I think there is a coming to terms with when you start watching Friends and you're older than Rachel.
Yeah.
That's a feeling.
That's a
you
thing.
know?
Yeah.
That's a thing. And like I used to watch Friends and they were older than me, and now I'm watching Friends and I'm older than they were when they were on Friends, which is like really strange.
Yeah.
And I think because I've come to this, right?
Yeah.
And my brother turned 40, and that was kind of strange. And my mom is gone, and my dad is older. You think about things. I'm so aware that life is so like fragile, and with the cancer, that too. I mean, that like there's a lot of stuff that makes you really think about that. And so I think I'm in a season of attempting discernment. I say attempting because it's never perfect. You know, I'm not always discerning, you know, about every choice I make, or like if I heat a plastic container, you know, and is it going to give me plastic container disease? Like, you know,
It's
I
a
think about
practice.
these things.
Yeah.
Well, it's a practice, and I think like a great life, at least for me right now, is being intentional as many times as I can afford the energy to be intentional throughout a given day. And so I would say like I'm in a season of discernment, and of course nothing is perfect, but everything is on purpose.
I love
You know,
that.
like nothing is perfect, but everything is on purpose. And I definitely don't take clients anymore that aren't a fit.
That's
If
fine.
I try, it doesn't work. So it's like, if I try because I'm nice. I just saw a medium last night. That's why I was on Riverside last night. And what's interesting about this, it was like they were giving away like a free mediumship experience where like they got you into a meditation, and then you could see which of your relatives comes to you.
Oh, wow.
And I have so many dead people, so it's great for me because I'm like, oh, look at everybody. You know, so like,
Gather
like,
round.
like that. Gather round, everyone. Come spin a yarn with me.
I've arrived,
Like,
right.
I have arrived. But one of the things that I felt like my mom knows I miss her so much, and that's so heavy for me. And then my grandmother comes through, and I'm like, she was so mean, like in real life. Like she was a really tough lady. And when she came through, she was basically saying that I need to use that energy. She's like, because I've been tough. I've advocated for my son, educational nonsense that I've had to do. Like, and she's like, why don't you use that in other areas of your life and just be less forgiving all the time? Because I'm very forgiving. Like, it's my nature. I take forever to fire people. Also, I don't fire that many people.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
It's more likely they eventually ghost me because I am too chicken to
I
fire
see.
them
I see. Fair. It's hard.
when it's not a
It's a hard
fit.
conversation.
You know? And even like with breaking up with people, I'm an awful breaker upper. Like back in the day when I used to have boyfriends and breakups and whatever. And, I mean, I used to have a thing where I'd break up with people at Uno's because I didn't like it there. Because I was like, well, if I break up here, I'm not going to have to like come back and then think, oh God, this is where the breakup is. So I used to break up with people there.
I'll never look at an Uno's the same way. Oh my God.
Yeah. Good luck finding one. They're not doing that well.
I know.
But I remember doing that. And like, and so I'm not great at enforcing, like, just having the hard conversations. And I'm getting better at that. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's hard for everyone. But like standing up for myself, arguing and fighting, I'm a much, not really, I can be a fighter. I mean, I can be mean, you know? I'm not.
No,
by
you're
nature,
not.
But, like, I
No.
can channel
But
that
I
energy to
understand
be
what
a
you're
tough
saying.
lady.
Right. Tough lady.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, and I can do it. My grandmother's saying I need to do it more. Because we've been without heat for a while. Did you know this in my house?
No.
I haven't even posted about it. We like lost our heat after the Patriots won the AFC game. And so like it's been now, almost a month that I haven't had heat.
You haven't had heat.
And it was like yeah, and so I have space heaters everywhere, which isn't that great.
How are your pipes?
And so the original installers, my basement heating system is the only one working, but it's only the basement.
Okay.
So the door's open. So it makes the house like 65, 66, 68, right? It's not horrible. And so the house is fine. But like I called the original installers and then they were like, we're going to come Tuesday morning. Then they didn't come. And then they told me to hire somebody else. Then I hired somebody else. And then they charged me $1,200 for a job that now I'm hearing was supposed to be $300.
What?
And so now I'm like in a pickle. Yeah, the situation. And then I had this thing last night that it feels like it was really like I found out 5 minutes before I got picked to randomly get a reading.
Wow.
And my grandmother's like, you have to stand up and don't negotiate. This was what she said specifically was don't negotiate.
Yes.
And I think too often women, especially prevalent for women in business because there's a lot of opportunity to negotiate.
Yeah.
That we should be way less willing to negotiate.
I agree.
In general.
Yes.
Like, when you send a quote, that's the quote.
That's the quote.
Sometimes.
Yes. It's like sometimes we
Pay
take
it,
on this
don't.
thing where, and we take on this thing where it's like, I should be grateful to even have your attention. Like, you're considering little old me? Well, gosh, here's
we
my
can't be like that.
quote, hope it's okay. Like, no, I completely agree with you. There's no negotiating.
Don't negotiate. And whenever I write a hard email too, I like run it through ChatGPT so I seem less offended.
Okay.
Like, because when somebody aggravates me,
Yeah, to take out the emotion.
I have ChatGPT take out the emotions.
That's a great idea.
And then whenever it does, it always says the same thing about my emails. It's like, why do you do everybody else's emotional labor? It's a term that like I never thought would apply to me.
You're not
And
in
I
charge
was like,
of their.
I do that.
Yeah, you're not in charge of their experience. You're not.
No, I do my best to guide them to a great experience, and if they're not going to make it, they're not going to make it.
Right.
But I can't do everybody else's emotional labor. You can't make somebody feel a certain way.
No.
You can't make people fall in love with you. You can't make people buy something. That's why I'm always like branding in websites should always just be you showing up. Brand is a celebration of you. A website is a celebration of your brand. Showing up as the best version of yourself possible. Let people make their own decisions.
Yes.
There's no tricking people. There's no making people think they need something. Show up and have a quiet authority.
I like it.
Let people decide. Yeah, and that's what the effect of good branding and good websites do. I mean, somebody asked me like, oh, so I'll have a website, then what'll happen? I was like, you'll look professional? What do you want me to say? I was like, you'll look like a real business?
Right.
I go, I mean, I'm not saying it's a magic pill. I'm just saying, like, if you do it intentionally.
It's an asset.
Yeah, I go, it will only help you. Why was I talking to somebody? It was a client, an idiot, probably, a dumb client who should be punched in the face. I don't remember who it was. They're probably like my biggest fan. They're probably going to watch this and they're probably going to be like, Lucy, good deal like that. I always get myself into trouble. But it's true. It's just like, what do you think it's going to do? But it's like if you do it intentionally, right? And you stop negotiating your greatest version of yourself.
Yes.
No, like it's negotiation is really an underminement of, what you want. People that negotiate, leave it to government. They should start negotiating with each other, but that's their friggin' job.
Right.
You shouldn't have to negotiate just being yourself. You could just be you, and that's more than enough. And
I
I
agree.
think people don't believe that because they're like, oh, Mr. Rogers is dead. And I was like, yeah, but like all the stuff he said is really true from when you're a child, and that self-worth really never goes away, even if we
Agreed.
think it does. It doesn't go away just because you're 38 or however old you might be.
Right. No, completely agree. Completely agree. There's something that I like. There's a quote, for what it's worth, from a business perspective,
Yeah.
your ability to negotiate is only as good as your ability to walk away. Meaning,
Yeah.
like, if you're there in hopes of like pleading, you're gonna whittle yourself way down. And this does apply in life too, for ourselves and what we put out there and how we show up and do we shrink. And it's just like, if you can just come to the table being like, this is what I want, and if it's reasonable and still works for me, we can talk. But otherwise, I'm out. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I need. And if you can't do that, that's
Why
it.
are we
What
at
else
the
are we
table?
talking to?
There's
Yes,
nothing else to
exactly.
give it to a different table.
Exactly. This is not my
You're
table.
at the wrong table.
Yeah.
I would be
Exactly.
like, if
And
I
that's
don't get what I want, if I were at a table like this, I'd be like, I must be in the wrong room. And then I just leave.
I love that. Because it's
love
not true, right?
It's true.
Exactly.
Well, I always feel
Yeah.
like money's on the table. I always say this to people: you're if you don't have a website that works for you, you're always leaving cash on the table. It's just you just gotta.
It's true.
It's always true. Like if your website doesn't work, that's just a truth statement. I also say too, I think I might have said this to you when we were writing your copy, but there's also an actual empirical measurable cost to not hiring you. Even if it is hard to calculate, people always get so hung up on like, oh, I charge $75 for 30 minutes or whatever. Shut up. No. There's an actual, we're paying a much bigger fee to not actually have access to your gift. And this is where
Yes.
people undersell. Just because they've lost touch with that, or they think it sounds like a nice platitude. But it's actually true. There's a measurable cost to not working with me. There's a measurable cost to not working with you and everybody else in the world. And it's just, we're all absorbing it all the time.
Constantly.
Whether
Constantly.
you actually notice or not.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like, can I afford to stay small? Can I afford to stay where I am? Can I afford to stay comfortable? Is that something I'm willing to pay versus, taking action and doing the thing? And I just get to pick which discomfort I want. Is I more uncomfortable doing the thing? Am I more uncomfortable staying the way I am?
People
or like,
do that. They pick the uncomfortable, the evil they know. Like that's like a thing. People pick the bad thing that they know because it feels safer than the thing that they don't know. That's why incumbent people always win politically. Because they're like, oh, the evil I know. Even if they don't like them, they're like, well, nothing exploded, so I guess I'll just keep doing it.
that worked, I guess, enough last time. Right.
Right? For now. Yeah, it's a little scary out there. But,
It is. Yeah.
that's why I think it's scary to change. But that's why I'm trying to be in a season of discernment, because it's so much easier to stay the same.
Yeah. And
than
speaking
if I
of
intentionally
changes.
say it. Yeah. No, what were you going to say?
Totally. No, I was gonna say, speaking of changes, another question that I had was like, what was the most like formative transition that you have experienced, not just as a person, but also as a woman? And like, what did that demand of you?
Probably motherhood, having my son. I mean, I remember looking in the mirror. I recently started to tell this story, but like right before you have an emergency C-section, you do have 5 seconds in a mirror because you're putting on a Johnny, right, to go to the table.
Wow.
And so I had 5 seconds in the mirror to look at my tummy and my body as it was, as I was born with, the body I was born with, and say, okay, we're going to just be different now. Hope that's okay.
Yeah.
And then you go.
True.
Well, like I remember this very it was a very pivotal moment, and then I made it to the room, and they did the spinal tap or whatever they do in there, the enormous needle that you don't want to see.
I
It's
had
like
that too.
this.
Yeah.
It's as tall as me. It's really big. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
insane.
remember.
You don't
Ah,
look away, right? And so I looked away.
epidural. That's
Epidural.
what the
I
word
don't
is.
know if it is
Epidural.
when they do a
Yeah, I think.
C-section. I think it's called something else because it's like
Oh,
called a spinal.
oh,
But
oh,
anyway, because
maybe, maybe.
it's
Yeah,
like
that makes
I
sense.
don't know. Anyway, so they did it,
It's very different.
and I
Right.
felt, and
Right.
then I was like, and then that was that. But like, and it was a hell of a time after, right? And this is rough birth. I mean, like I just remember them yelling, "Get the father! Get the father!" And I was like, "What's the rush?" Is what I said because I was like, he was fine. I begged for this emergency C-section, so like it wasn't emergent until I
Really?
begged for it. Yeah, because I was like, they
Wow.
kept doing things, shoving things up inside me, trying to get him to wiggle out. Like, leave him alone. Like, they induced me because I was borderline high blood pressure. I was 140/80. It wasn't that high.
Oh,
I mean, they were
sure.
really all over me. They wanted him to be induced on my ex-husband's birthday. I said no. Then they yelled at me and said, "What do you want to risk your life?" And I said, "For that, I guess so. Yes, I will. I'll risk my life. I'll see you tomorrow." And so I waited a day. It was very late.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I think people need to listen to women. Medically, always people need to
Yeah.
listen to women. I mean, I had lymphoma for 9 months before they actually figured out I
Really?
had lymphoma. Yeah, they said I had pneumonia like multiple times. They
Oh my
wanted to
gosh.
send me to GI. I said, I think it's this thing on my neck. And then they were like, "Oh, that's benign." And then I was like, "Well, ever since it showed up, I haven't got better. So like, I want it gone." So I ended up going to see. They were like, "You better find a surgeon," and I was like, "You better find a surgeon." I was like, "What? I'm gonna go to
Good for
Facebook
you.
and say ISO surgeon?" I mean, can you imagine? Like to get this thing
Wow.
off my neck.
Wow.
So then they sent me to Mass Eye and Ear. Turned out to be cancer,
Wow.
very quickly, and like it was everywhere. So I would say like
Wow.
I can't help but think about motherhood, but I mean tangentially cancer. But I think like going through these things, motherhood really changed me because I actually did change my Myers-Briggs. I was an ENFJ, and I became an ENFP. I became a nicer person after having a
Okay.
baby, like a lot less judgy, you know. Um,
Sure.
and I still judgy, right? I still got that
It's
saucy part
okay.
of me, you know. But everybody needs a
Discernment.
little. I have a little edge, yeah. I'm discernment, but like I'm now an ENFP. I also like I would say that was motherhood, and it also made me rely on my team quite heavily. I think I saw my team and my company in a different way. That was the first time I left my company for like a time while I ran without me, and so
Wow.
you know, and I notice I also call my company a company. I think like this is what women need
Yes.
to do too. You don't say my business. I like my business. You
Yes.
call yourself, call it a company.
And also to note too, you built something that can run on its own. Like you built
Yes.
a thing that
Yes.
can run independently of you. That's
Yes.
huge.
Yeah,
A lot
people
of
don't
people don't
do
do
that.
that.
No, people don't do
No,
that. And I had
that's
to do a
awesome.
lot of work to do that. I had to write my own operations
Absolutely.
manual. I had to like put
Oh
people
yeah.
in charge of doing certain things. I made sure it still ran. I mean, it was a team. They did amazing, and I love my team. And I had a
Sure.
larger team then, but I had to because I was in a season of life where I was a mom and I needed more help, so I was doing it that way. But I kept the
Yeah.
ship running. I would say, yeah. I think it was motherhood. I think the cancer stuff definitely, but I already talked about that. I just think it raises the stakes, though, when you realize your own impermanence. It raises the stakes on all the other decisions that you make and what you want to be and what you want to do.
Totally. No, that makes a ton of sense. Absolutely. And I guess coming back to where you are today, what do you wish more women would understand about this current phase of life or the phase of life that you're in?
I think, I think that time is precious and don't wait to take your turn. There is no
Mm.
turn take. There is do or not do. And that's rather simple. But I mean, like, and then I also think too, decide if this is like whatever it is you want. Is it really what
Hmm.
you want? But there is only the decision that remains. I mean, it's really deciding what you want for yourself and already knowing you're worthy enough now. There is no saving up to do something. Like we create all these rules. I'll do it when I'm thinner. I'll do it when I'm richer. I'll do it when I'm whatever. No, just start doing. And I think like whenever you see people out there and you get that jealous itchy, rather than be
Mm.
jealous and triggered by them, what do they have that you don't? And why don't you just go get it? And wish
Yeah. What
them
can I
love,
learn from them?
Wish them love.
Yes.
Don't wish that. I mean, some people are actually sucky and are annoying. Unfollow them. But there are people that will just trigger you because you're jealous or they have something you want. Whatever it is, just go take it. What is it? Go take it.
Completely
Don't
agree.
hesitate.
Totally.
Stop negotiating.
Stop negotiating. Yes.
That's what it
Going
is.
back to that. It is. Have you had to unlearn anything to get to where you are today, whether it's anything with motherhood, womanhood, success, relationships, business, ambition?
Yeah, that it's not hard to make money.
Nice.
It's really not.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think people act like money is a struggle, like weight is a struggle. People make struggles out of things. But I don't think the thing is the struggle. It's you. I mean it lovingly.
I can't agree more.
I mean this very lovingly. Money is not a struggle. You are the one choosing to struggle. Why are you making it hard? Why are you making it so you can only earn it a certain way? Why are you overcomplicating it? What if you approached this with curiosity instead of judgment? You know, and I think that whenever people say curiosity too, there's an openness there. And I think like if you looked at these things that you think are hard, I don't care if you're 1,000 pounds. I think that this is all true. It's whatever you decide you're worried about is the struggle. Okay, so like,
I agree.
Yeah, and it's not the thing. It's you deciding that that's what you're going to struggle with. Not to say we don't all struggle. I struggle with things, for sure. And I'm very imperfect. But I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly curious.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will, just like you said, will use the thing. I don't mean to say this is like to shame ourselves for it, but it's a lot easier to point outwards and be like, it's because of that or them or this, rather than to be like, no, this is because of me.
Yeah.
And I have all the power to create this. Like if I'm so powerful that I could create this scenario where I'm afraid of this or I'm limited in this or I can do this, imagine what I could create if I knew I could do something else or look that way. Like I've created my reality, I can create another one.
Yeah, like well, how could I mean, honestly, a positive attitude can do so much for you.
Oh, it really can. It's a
Or
total
just seeing
perspective shift and everything.
possibilities. Like instead of seeing walls, where is there a possibility? Even if it feels like it's just a half open window. Climb out. Yeah. Take it. Do something different. I mean, like, this is like we complain and we struggle, but like we're swimming in the same pool. Get out of the pool.
Yeah.
Get a towel.
Nothing's going to change if nothing changes. You're right. Yeah. What are you proud of that usually doesn't get talked about? It could be like something internal, quiet, seemingly invisible. I'd love to hear it.
I'm proud of my son. And because I made that, you know, so I am very proud of him. I worry about him too much. In fact, that I feel as if my mom on the other side is saying, I got this, he's fine, you can let off a little bit. But I used to worry about him constantly. And it's also like, I think it's because I work so much too. Not like so much, but like I work, you know, I'm a breadwinner, and I think when you work, it's like you feel like you're missing things, so then you worry more because you're not there all the time to see how amazing he is. So, but he's the best. He's the best thing I ever made. That's not a website. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Awesome. He is the best. And then I would say, also proud of myself, and it's okay to be proud of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. And I like to ask this to everyone that I talk to.
Ooh.
Just knowing what you know now, what would you have told yourself at the beginning of all of this?
Holy shit.
This is the holy shit question.
Because I think I would say that first to myself, and then I would say, and maybe you're never going to believe this, you'll get to work with Clinton Kelly from What Not to Wear. That was cool. Wow. I might say, you're going to win lots of awards too for this. You're going to have people that work for you. I didn't think I would ever have that. Like, I never thought people would work for me. But I hit a wall where eventually you have too much work, you can't do it all, but you like money. So it's like, when that happens, you hire people so you can still have money and do what you love. And then that's when I hired Zach. was in when that happened. That was the best thing I ever did in the business. And then I've hired other people, like Kelly's amazing. And I have had other, I would say, all-stars throughout the time. But I would say Zach and Kelly are like my best hires. But I think back then I would have been so surprised.
Sure. That's so awesome, right? You just never know what's possible until you put yourself out there and just go for it. Like,
Yeah.
I have made so much, and I have so much work, and I've been so successful that it is beyond just me as an individual.
me.
I've built something bigger than me. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a message of truth, a permission, anything that you feel called to offer other women through your story and what you've gone through?
Oh, okay. Medically, always ask for imaging, even if you have to pay out of pocket. It's worth it. Get a CAT scan.
Yeah.
Just get a CT. It's called a CT scan. You can just go right to an imaging person and buy one. You don't have to get. It's nice if you get a referral. But if you ever have questions about your health, start with a picture. With your life and your business, be the star you know you are. Meaning, if you have an itch and you are a nudge, please don't ignore these nudges. I mean, it means that you are on the precipice and something bigger and more beautiful is coming for you, and that it's not beautiful on day 2, but it's an ever evolving painting, of what you get to create, what you get to decide you want to do. But you're worth it. You're already worth it.
I love it. It is such an honor to have you on this podcast. Liz, Theresa, you are an arguably feral woman. I so appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.